So this episode was awesome. So far, easily the best episode this season. This episode heavily featured themes of justice and badass speeches. But there's an absolute ton to talk about, so let's get started. So first we have Davos and Stannis sailing to Braavos to meet with the Iron Bank. At first they turn his request down because, despite having a really great claim, he doesn't really have a lot of resources or men to back that up. But then Davos, who's a total bamf, stands up and says this piece about how, other than Tywin, the Lannisters are kind of on their way out and they're kind of at their most vulnerable right now. So, thanks to Davos, Stannis gets his gold. I'm not really sure where they're sailing now that they have all this gold. I'm still really not sure where they're going with this. So then we get Asha Greyjoy, who I think we've only checked in with once since season 2. So she gives this rousing speech to the Ironborn, and they sneak into the Dreadfort to try and get Theon, who's in the kennels right now. I've seen a lot of people criticizing the fact that Asha or Yara just runs from Ramsay's hounds, but I think it had less to do with her not being able to fight them off, and more to do with her kind of cutting that tie with her brother and realizing that he's just so far gone at this point. Now, I think this may have been my favorite Daenerys scene ever on this show. Dare comes in, who's one of the sons of the nobles that she crucified for, you know, to have justice on the little girls that were crucified before by them. And all he wants to do is come in and bury his father, who was absolutely innocent in the whole thing. It's this really great moment where she gets a taste of how ruling isn't just black and white, and how it's not like with the sheep herder that came in just before that you can just pay him off and solve problems that easily. It was something that makes you see her character and her storyline in a whole new light just by getting kind of that insight there. So finally we come to probably the best thing this season has done so far, which is Tyrion's trial. So he's obviously in a massive amount of trouble because Mirren Trant comes in and he says things like he has evidence of him threatening Joffrey before. Pycelle, who was obviously working with Peter Baelish and Olenna, testifies against him as well, saying that he stole the poison from his wares and that's how he killed Joffrey. Varys testifies against him, even though he knows that Tyrion obviously saved the city in season 2. But because he's always thinking 8 chess moves ahead, he kind of has to betray Tyrion here in order to do what's best for the realm. There was a really nice moment where you could see that he genuinely felt bad about it, though. During the recess of the trial, Jaime confronts Tywin and is just like, you know what, this is ridiculous, like you can't just treat him like this. So Jaime makes a deal with Tywin that he'll leave the Kingsguard and go back to Casterly Rock as the Lannister heir in exchange for Tyrion's life, and Tywin just sending him to the wall instead of executing him. So Jaime quickly has a word with Tyrion saying, you know, all you have to do is plead guilty, man. Like, I'll take care of it. It's all okay. But unfortunately, Jaime's plan is undermined when Shae walks into the room to testify against Tyrion, and everything just blows up. You can just feel all of these knives of betrayal just going straight through Tyrion's heart as she's condemning him. So Tyrion at this point just says, fuck it, like, I'm out. He goes off on everyone in the room, saying that he saved everyone, and Peter Dinklage is then escorted back to his cell where he receives his Emmy. I mean, waits for the next episode. There's a lot of debate over who's the best actor in the show, but when he decides to plant his feet and act, like, he outshines everyone in the room. He gave an absolutely amazing finish to this fantastic episode. So, I apologize if it just sounded like I was recapping today. If you're looking for critique, I got nothing for you. I really like this episode. You know, I can be pretty hard on HBO, I'll be the first to admit that, but the things that they get right, they definitely get right. And Tyrion's trial was definitely one of those instances. This one was actually written by Brian Cogman, who I like a million times better as a writer than David Benioff and Dan Wise. It's just kind of a shame that this is the last episode he's written this season. I'm just hoping that Benioff and Wise can kind of finish this season on a really strong note that Brian Cogman just sent them up on. They have everything that they need from the source material to make this absolutely awesome. It's just kind of, you know, a game of where are they going to change things and how is that going to work for them in the long run. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think they're setting up for a strong finish? Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time for the brand character analysis video. Have a good one.